Welcome back to the 2026 First Stand Tournament. Today we've got BFX versus G2 Esports. Looking at the drafts, I really like most of what G2's coming at this composition with. They've got Enchanter plus double frontline plus the Ashe. I'm not sure if LeBlanc really fits this composition though. I would have preferred, I think from a compositional perspective, I feel like I would have preferred more of a control mage. But I think the reason that they went for LeBlanc is the enemy team has so much engaged that, like a standard mage would just find it very difficult to play. But also, I'm just not really that big of a fan of LeBlanc into Vi. I feel like that jam makes it really hard for LeBlanc. You have to get Zhonya's as well, which isn't often what you want to do. BFX's comp, I think I probably prefer a bit more in that regard. I'm not sure how the balling is supposed to go, but this game, if we just move on to the game, you'll see why I say that I don't really know how it's supposed to go, because the game was extremely weird immediately. So this is Caps, Diabol's flanking Caps already. This is pretty bad for Caps. So obviously this is going to be really bad for the mid lane. He's down 400 HP. But it's also quite bad for bot lane, because the BFX bot lane is going to be late to lane. G2 figure out or guess that Kellen's going to be sitting in try or try to camp Diabol because he's going to be there. And Kellen gets really chunked level 1. So now both mid for G2 and bot lane for BFX are really chunked. And this is not how this lane goes at all. Kellen flashes in time before Ashe's auto goes off. So really nice flash reactions from Kellen, but this is a terrible lane. This is a complete disaster of a lane. Now there's gonna be a bit of a feed cutting out, so we're gonna jump ahead like 40 seconds around here somewhere. Okay, here we jump at 40 seconds. What's happened? Xin Zhao has invaded. Both junglers have passed down. Xin Zhao invaded to enemy red. I don't know exactly how this happened. Again, the feed cut out, but Xin Zhao is stealing red, so Vi got 5 of her 6 camps. Will not get the bot scuttle, but will, I think, get the top scuttle. Xin Zhao is gonna finish his bot side, and after clearing the scuttle, he's actually gonna gank the Kellen. Now again, bot lane has been insane the entire game of 3 minutes, so this is just a free kill. Kellen had to recall very early, right? Trying to annoy G2. Gets caught, flash in from Skewmon, gets the kill. Great start for G2, right? BFX is all about Diabol, and having a mid laner who's weaker than they're supposed to be in trade for a top laner, or excuse me, for a bot laner that's much weaker. When BFX is the team that has the weaker bot laner, you feel like that is a worthy trade. They are a very AD carry focused team. So with G2's bot lane strength, it's Berserker Greaves to boots. Skewmon is gonna eventually path and start this dragon. And BFX is not gonna try to contest it. They go mid, but Caps is fine. Now, I mentioned that I don't really like picking LeBlanc into Vi, but it is kind of both ways, where Vi finds it difficult to go on to LeBlanc. I feel like from the LeBlanc's perspective, I want to be aggressive, and I just have to be a lot more defensive against Vi, and that's why I don't really particularly like it. But if you're playing defensively on LeBlanc, Vi is not very effective against LeBlanc because you have so many dashes. Now, this mid lane matchup is going pretty poorly. Now, not all of this is actually from level 1. I want to be clear that a decent amount of this is just Vikla is laning quite well. He's an NA player, of course, so he's gonna play well. It's only G2 Caps, and here we got the arrow. Boom! This is not a very common thing to see, especially because Ahri has ulti. So Vikla caught sleep in there a bit, and that's a very well needed boon for Caps to get that kill. Mid lane was not going well, but now kind of back to equal. Xin Zhao gets to do the grubs off of that because Ahri was still dead. And G2 has first dragon. G2 has 3 grubs. The game is going well, and they have a huge bot advantage. BB is not doing particularly well top lane. In any something versus a tank matchup, usually the something is going to get a slight lead. This is probably a bit more than you're supposed to get in top lane, but it's still within an acceptable range, I would say. A very nice charm there from Vikla, gets Caps' flash. And that's kind of a good indication of how this lane just has been going. Like, it isn't just level 1 that, you know, Vikla has a very good charm there and gets a good trade and gets the flash. He is just playing the lane quite well. Interestingly, Vikla's maxing E second. I kind of like E second max because it increases the duration of the CC a lot, but it does lower your damage a lot as well. But I kind of like it. I think I prefer it over W max, but only in competitive where I'm not trying to solo kill everyone. So second dragon, excuse me. Second dragon is spawning. It's early morning. Might be yawning a little bit. Second dragon at spawn. Both teams definitely want to be fighting around this, posturing around it. The team of BFX kind of weirdly split up and allowed G2 to get into river here. So you see that Vi is kind of alone with Diable and Kellen's over here. I feel like this isn't what we should be doing, but it's not that big of a deal. Now G2 get first can get control of the river. They opt to just go bot lane. Diable is fine though. It is bot prow for mid prow. Now if BFX can't allow Diable to get back into this fight, it's going to be a very difficult fight for him. Gnar for them. Gnar TPing in. Thank you, Kobe. Gnar's Triforce. K'Sante does not have his full item, but Vikla gets hit by the double E from the Seraphine, gets hit by the Seraphine ult afterwards, and has to immediately bail. But in the meantime, Raptor is the one that ends up taking a lot of damage. I think the reason Raptor actually dies here is mostly because he takes so much damage from the Cloud Dragon. So, oh no, it's because he gets hit by the Seraphine ult and a little bit from the Cloud Dragon. But the Q3 from Xin Zhao goes onto the Vi, and the K'Sante and Xin Zhao can just combine to kill this Vi, and then it's a free dragon for G2. Game's going very well so far for G2. BFX definitely are the heavy favorites coming in when it's, I mean, whenever it's an Eastern team versus a Western team, the Western team's never, it's always the Eastern team is the favorite, no matter how bad the Eastern team is. But this is a great start. So this is exactly the start you want to see, especially since it's game 1. This is going to really put a you know, get people excited, because it's not even that BFX is playing particularly poorly. Like G2's playing pretty good so far. Like they're aggressively punishing the mistakes that BFX have made. So in this situation, we got to talk about macro. So Ahri just cleared mid, and she's gonna walk top. With this move, she's gonna full go top, and Gnar is gonna base. Yunara has a base out of bot lane and is going to run mid. Oh, Gnar's not basing yet, but Gnar is going to base. We're looking at the minimap right now. After Yunara goes to mid, Gnar is going to go bot lane. Now, I call this a double shift because you basically had 2 people. I'm not showing this. You go like that, and then this person goes down like that. I call it a double shift. And very often this is a good plan because your top laner can usually walk up to the tower, or you do this when there's no tower here. But the problem is that G2 with 3 grubs and mini Gnar for BFX, they end up just taking this tower. And because Gnar can't really walk up in this situation, I don't really like this play from BFX. If it was something like a Scion or even the K'Sante that G2 has, I feel like you're a lot more willing to walk up and try and sit under that tower. But as a mini Gnar, you're definitely going to get chain CC'd Q3 from Xin Zhao is a guaranteed to CC, so there's not really a way to outplay it. BFX opt to start the Herald. We're fighting with Caps a little bit. The blue orb goes down. G2 know that BFX are on this Herald, and they're going to try to walk in. They don't really want to give this. Caps has TP, but Kazante is not walking down quite yet. But the W lands onto the buff from Xin Zhao, so it is just a flip. That was just a flip, but BFX get it. Nice flash from G2's bot lane to not get hit by the flash ulti from Nico. Caps barely living with 1 HP. Diable getting hit by the Seraphine ulti, but has cleanse for it. Raptor is the one that ends up going down here. Pretty interesting fight. A lot of fights on different angles here. So this was a very nice start from Kellen to get both flashes. Vikla gets chunked, and then Caps barely surviving is really bad. And then I believe it was the W. Yeah, the W from Kazante is what hits Diable, and he has to immediately bail from the fight. Didn't flash that. And again, another fight where lots of action happened, but the result was only Raptor dies. Very, very close fight. From BFX's perspective, that's really not how you want that to go. One, because they allowed a 50-50, and two, because their engage was kind of, I don't want to say flubbed, because Kellen did get 2 flashes, but it was not coordinated because they were going on different targets, and maybe that was just because it was double flashed. But I don't know, it feels a bit off, like it feels weird and bad for BFX. I feel like that could have been good for them. Maybe it was just because Vikla got chucked at the beginning. So Kellen got caught there. I didn't say anything about it, but yeah, he got caught. And the next dragon is spawning. Now this dragon, because Kellen got caught, BFX is not going to have as much vision control to try and contest this, and G2 has very good vision. It's pretty scary for BFX to try to walk in. Even though they have the Herald, they opt to instead just go mid with the Herald. G2 now are retaking Herald. The arrow from Ashe kind of poorly placed. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Kind of poorly placed. I'll get some caffeine for the next game. And the Herald doesn't end up taking this mid tower, but BFX, after placing this Herald, kind of like loop around and go around to defend G2 from entering to get to bot lane, and Gnar goes bot. So Raptor and Diable, no, that can't be real Diable, right? That's gotta be fake Diable, right? Yeah, it's fake Diable. That's Kellen. They're kind of defending G2 from getting back into this area of the map. And Caps with a nice W, but Labrov is the one that pays, because Labrov has no flash from that previous fight. Vialt is a guaranteed kill, and BFX's overload play ends up working out for them, because not only do they get this kill, they're gonna get the bot tower, deny all the creeps, but the Kazante didn't push top quickly enough. Not out of mistake, but you just can't. And Clear does get to TP in and take most of this tower. Looking at this game state, actually before we do that, Clear has to blow flash, but Han Sama gets caught with the Nico ulti, goes down. Caps almost saves him by tanking the what was it? The charm, but ends up going down. Caps almost saves the play by getting a return kill onto the Nico. I'm so sorry. I'm a sleepy boy today. But G2 had a gold lead. Now BFX has a gold lead, but not a very significant one. Less than 1,000 gold. Hans being a bit over aggressive, while G2 was looking for a play top side. Gets caught. The Proto Belt catches out Kellen. But Dragons in 2 minutes, that is really going to be what everyone's focused on, because it is Soul for G2. This is a game where Ocean Soul, in my opinion, is quite powerful. It's probably not the most powerful, because, I mean, Hextech Soul is just so OP that it's usually the most powerful one. But it is really good this game. And if G2 get it, that'll be a huge help for them in the team fights. And the dragon contesting starts very early on, a minute beforehand. This tends to be when people start looking at vision. But BFX and G2 are fighting over the crab, and Raptor ends up just getting killed from Skimon and the arrow. Skimon flashes out, but Vikla goes for a play, lands the charm onto the Seraphine, and Seraphine dies 100-0. So it's 4 for 4. It's a really crazy and hectic fight. But Hansama low-key space gliding right now. He's kind of going crazy. He's been playing well all game. A lot of the bot lane advantages were created from Kellen, or excuse me, from Labrov. But Hansama was kind of setting those up and allowing Labrov to land those. I mean, I say setting them up. He was auto-attacking them. But it was good from both of them. Hansama played very well in this fight. Labrov was, you know, he kind of died for somebody else's sins. He wasn't really getting aimed at, but then got hit. For some reason, it's hard to dodge skill shots that aren't aimed at you. You don't like try to, and then sometimes you get hit by them. So even though G2 win this fight, the dragon's not actually alive, so they can't kill it. Otherwise, it's a 4 for 1 or 4 for 2. They could have taken the dragon if it was alive. It just wasn't alive. So now BFX have a second chance. Gold leads nothing. 300 gold's nothing. But BFX start the dragon. And Seraphine, in these moments where she can get a lot of rotations of her W, is so powerful. BB takes a decent chunk of damage, but Raptor goes in after getting chunked out by Caps. And the charm lands onto Hansama, and Hansama almost goes down, but this is why Seraphine is so powerful, is that the W comes in clutch, saves Hansama, and now with 3 members dead from BFX, that's going to be a free Ocean Soul and Nash from G2. And Ocean Soul is very good in this game, in my opinion. But Ocean Soul is not one of those objectives that is... what's it called? It's not one of those objectives that it prevents a fight that starts off really poorly. If a fight starts off really poorly, usually Ocean Soul doesn't do much. Now, that may be relevant, but right now, G2 is pushing bot tier 2. Caps is mid lane. BFX traded bot tier 2 for top tier 2. G2 is going to try to continue sieging down here. Skimon is hiding out of vision, making people scared. Ahri finished her tower and is now basing. G2 is a bit scared. They're worried about a random ward. It's hard to sweep literally every area of the map, and there is a random ward behind G2. It's very deep. It's in the enemy bot side jungle. So there could be some James Bond spy stuff happening potentially, but instead BFX opts to go for mid lane, and Caps gets Vi-ulted, and the fact that he lives here is insane. I can't believe that he lives. And this is, you know, it's the other end of the sword. When I said LeBlanc into Vi kind of sucks, Vi into LeBlanc also kind of feels bad when you land the Vi ulti with an Ahri there against somebody with legit 0 defensive stats. The only defensive stat the LeBlanc has is the HP from Dark Seal, and you can't kill her. It just feels awful. So really feels bad, but that allows G2 to take the inhib during that trade. But because 3 big ultimates from BFX for their engage are down, it's impossible for BFX to defend this tier 3 tower or the inhibitor, and it is just going to be a double inhib for G2. Moving into Elder coming up. Now, Elder has not spawned or been taken, I think, once in this entire tournament. This is going to be the first game that it's been spawned, if it gets spawned. So Elder's a huge objective, but Raptor does have a very nice flank. Kellen goes in, and Hansama is the one that gets caught. This is awful, but Xin Zhao, Seraphine are very strong and powerful, and the Cassante is going to do a lot of work. Diable goes down to the Cassante, and Xin Zhao is 1v1ing the Vi. This is the biggest Ocean Soul diff that I've ever seen. the value of Ocean Soul in this fight specifically was absolutely incalculable. I think all of the other souls wouldn't have been a victory for G2 in this fight, but Skewmond healed so much from Ocean Soul. BB was invulnerable essentially, and this, just look at how this fight starts. It's just, are they going to show it? Or are they showing that they take Elder and Nash? Because they really don't show this fight again. Oh my god, I have to go all the way back. This is a complete tragedy. Okay. Look at how this fight starts. This is Han Sama, the 80 carry, completely one shot. No auto attacks off. Skewmond is sub 500 HP for so long, but Diabol's hitting into the Xin Zhao ulti, but then gets W'd. The Seraphine even dies alone, and it's... But Skewmond like just lives, like he's just healing to full. He was like sub 500 HP. You know what I mean? And the Kazante doesn't take damage. He's legit sitting at full HP. Okay, anyways. Elder Baron for G2. Can't be bad for them. They're gonna try to end off of it. You know, it would take a miracle to win this from BFX, honestly, because they're so squishy. They essentially pop like a balloon to the G2 composition. Even if they get the engage they got last fight, which is unlikely, they'll still lose. They lost them without Elder. So Vikla goes down. Ari goes. I don't even know where Ari dies. Oh, he dies to QR auto from Caps. GG from G2. Really exciting start. G2 getting the first victory. Going to make this series very exciting. BFX definitely going to lock in. Now let's see how they respond. Going into game 2. Looking at the draft from BFX, you got a lot of really strong champions on this composition. However, the Mel doesn't particularly fit with the rest of the comp. Everyone else, Rumble, Nock, Kaisa, Rakan, are all like trying to engage, and Mel is kind of staying back by herself. So it's a bit odd, but looking at the draft from G2, you see Nami Ornn locked in. So there is a lot of Mel reflect value this game. Absolutely. And the pick from Caps into Mel is Azir. And Mel's actually an Azir counter. So this is a bit strange for me to see the Azir come out. Looking at G2's comp, we have Azir and Ornn, which is insane amounts of scaling. But BFX has a lot of dive. So I'm not very convinced on this G2 scale comp. However, they do have a very strong bot and jungle to try to help the mid and tops scale. But I feel like more than likely, the way the game should be playing out is the strength of the dive is going to change the way bot lane goes, and then the game's just going to be very difficult from that point forwards. Now, this early game was actually relatively calm and kind of makes sense. I mean, BFX is the team that's really on a timer, but they have a Nocturne jungle, so they're not really going to be trying to do anything too crazy. I'm going to skip ahead. All the lanes were pretty much even. The junglers match clears. They traded scuttles. Absolutely nothing of particular note this game. So the Divide comes out from mid. Here we go. Second scuttle. Raptor is going to get this, but after Raptor gets this top scuttle, he is going to base, but Skewmond is looking for Vikla here. And now is finally seen. Flash, flag and drag to get the flash from Mel, but that allows the Cataclysm to come down. No flash from Mel. Jarvan into Mel is good. It's actually kind of surprising. I didn't check the bans, but it's kind of weird that Jarvan was up. But I don't know. I feel like Jarvan is actually a pretty strong champ, and like people first pick this champ. So anyways, because Jarvan ulti is down, BFX is going to get this first dragon, so that's good for them. And this game really starts to heat up around the 9-minute mark. Here we're going to see our first of many Nocturne ultis this game. This game wasn't super long, but it might have been the longest game of the day, so of this tournament so far. But first, Nocturne Q gets the flash from Azir. That's very good. Some skirmishing around, but based on the top prio, BFX decide to start these grubs, even though they have no Nocturne ulti. Azir has no flash. G2 think they found Vikla, but Vikla uses the Mel Reflect to... If you Mel Reflect Azir's ultimate, it doesn't do anything. It just goes through you. So that's why the Mel didn't get hit by that, and that's why that fight went very poorly for G2 squad. No damage, and even Labrov ends up dying at the end. He kind of just walks in and dies at the end. So BFX get the rest of the grubs. Pretty good start. 1k gold lead for BFX. Excuse me. And here Caps makes a very strange decision. So the wave is crashing mid right now, and he's roaming right now. If this doesn't work, it's so bad because he's going to lose this entire cannon wave, and Mel is going to get some plates, and it doesn't work. So now he's kind of screwed. He tries to base, but Kellen cancels his base. Kellen does have to flash, but this is so bad for mid. Kellen got a plate, and he missed an entire wave. For reference, Caps was up 200 gold. Now he's down 100 gold. And then while he's trying to walk back mid lane, he's going to die. He gets his E canceled or like blocked by Raptor. And BFX find him in the jungle. Raptor flashes over, trades flash with Skewmon. Labrov gets away. And now Mel is going to have around a 300 gold lead. So a 500 gold swing off of one decision to roam. Caps has really not been having the greatest last two series, in my opinion. Even last game, like, his early game was so, like, not so bad because he kind of got cheesed early, to be fair. But also Vikla was laning really well, even after like that point would matter. And here we have another skirmish around mid lane, and this is kind of just like champion gap. Like the champions from BFX's side are just stronger at this point in the game, and they also have a lead. Nice flash from Vikla to get the kill onto Caps, but BB is here first, which trades kill onto the Mel, but the Rumble following second trades kill onto the Nami. So overall, I think another 3-for-1 for BFX, and a very comfortable 2k gold lead with the Dragon alive. Now there's going to be a fight top lane, so BB TP flanked clear on this ward, and G2 Skewmon is here. Very smart by Skewmon to not just full commit onto the Rumble. Rumble routinely 1v2s these, so it's very smart by him to not do that. The Nocturne is here, and they do trade 1-for-1, but it's favored towards G2 because Clear had a shutdown. Clear is the top laner, and Nocturne had to use ulti, which relieves pressure from the rest of the map, although mostly just mid right now. But even though it's 1-for-1, it's still good for G2, I would argue. And BFX still continuing a healthy 2k gold lead. Labrov has a rough game this game, I'll say it. But this is a bright spot for him. He gets the Nami wave into the bubble and secures Kellen, but then does steal the kill, which is unfortunate. And this is the mechanic I'm talking about with Azir ulting and Mel pressing W. Mel, this is why I think the matchup is good, because it's essentially a mage matchup for Azir that you can't reliably shuffle. She just has a blocker for it. So that's why I actually think this matchup's good, because Azir tends to be bad into champs that can poke him, but most champs that can poke him can get shuffled in, and that's bad for them. But Mel's the only one that really isn't like that. So Azir, kind of slick play. Rakan E to the flying Nocturne to double E to Nocturne into Caps, just gets completely one shot. He could have flashed and probably should have flashed if he wanted to live, but decides not to. BFX are going to get the dragon now off of the free kill. Something to note, this game is going to be Caps' build. So he went Sorks, but then he's going to sit on a null magic like the entire game. And I feel like he should have just gotten Mercs if he's going to do this. Because the way I see it is he basically built a sorcerer's, like the upgrade sorcerer shoes that also gives magic resist for 1500 gold. when I feel like if he just spends 1250 on Mercs, he has more defensiveness, and yeah, he has a lot less damage, but it's cheaper and a lot more tankiness. And there's a lot of errant damage, like Rumble, Kaisa, and Mel all do like pretty reasonable poke, so not a huge fan of the build, although many builds are kind of fake, to be honest. Azir has the blow flash there, and Herald is alive, so BFX are going to start the Herald. It's a bit scary for G2 to try to fight this, so they just say, you can have it. BFX have gotten every objective, although they haven't gotten the dragons very quickly. It's currently 17 minutes, and they've just, they've only on 2 dragons, and it's 4 minutes to the next one. BFX are going to dive mid here. Labrov, this is the start of Labrov getting Nocturne ulted on cooldown. And a bit of an overzealous dive, honestly. They got mid tower, and they got 2 kills, but Nocturne had a 500 gold shutdown. Skewon gets a huge gold injection there. So even though they got 2 kills and a tower, they don't even go up in gold that much. And they actually don't even go up in gold because Ornn got the bot tower while this was happening. So like, it kind of sucks being really fed on champions that are like usually champs that go in and die, because you're a lot less willing to go in and make these plays where you go in and die because you don't want to give a big shutdown. But now that he has no shutdown, he can go in and die as much as he wants. Now, because there's no mid tier 1 to Herald, and there's no dragon to Herald, BFX just Herald bot tower. Get it nice and clean. So here is another instance of it's a sad day to be named G2 Labrov, because they spot the Nami, they Rumble ulti, they Nocturne ulti, and she dies. It's sad. There's not really much he could do. BB tries to do something. He has like a little nice delayed or an ulti there. Kind of fun, but nothing really happens. BFX now 3k up. Things looking very good for them. Again, they've gotten every objective. Their dragon stacking is a bit slow, but ultimately it is still going to be... you know, the game is still in a very good spot for them. G2 does have very strong scaling with the Azir Ornn, though. That is something to consider. A lot of the times in games like this, I would be a lot more... This game feels really hard because it's not something to look forward to, but there is something to look forward to. Usually pro teams don't build or don't craft comps like Azir Ornn. I don't know. I keep saying Orianna. Azir Ornn. There's so much scaling here. And BFX do have to be slightly careful. They don't want to throw one bad fight, and this could all go sour very quickly. BFX is sieging around mid. The reason they're sieging is because Dragon's coming out very soon. Nocturne gets EQ'd by Jarvan, but then ults, and you can't see into bushes even if there's a ward with Nocturne ulti on. Caps goes on to Clear, but Clear flashes it out. That's Jarvan ulti, Azir ulti, and Nami ulti, only for the Rumble. Actually, okay, now there's even more trades. So, I mean, G2 is just extremely low. I think BFX just get the dragon off of the HP. Oh no, they catch Skewmon and then take the dragon. I forgot this happened. A lot of stuff happened. So Kellen was the one who still had ulti, and Kaisa still has ulti. So Skewmon dies, and this is a really bad time to die. Not just because Dragon's going to be free, but he dies at the end of a play, which means that all of BFX wants to recall anyway. And when they recall, they're going to recall and get back on the map and be willing to start Nash because they have full conditions. And that is what ends up happening. BFX start Nash, and G2 don't even contest. It's just free. So now BFX is looking to push with Nash. They're up 5k, 3 Drakes, 3 Grubs. Game's looking very good for them. The general strategy with Baron is to go 4-1 in the lane. Usually 4 on a side lane, 1 in the mid lane. Here, BFX have Nocturne Baroning the mid wave, and most of BFX's bot Diable is just killing some camps. But BFX, instead of pushing mid, they're just going to dive. They dive, they one-shot Azir, and it looks like the game is just going to be a quick stop, but perhaps a bit of overzealousness from BFX, because while they do kill the Azir, they don't really have the ability to continue this dive. They have to kind of escape afterwards, and not only does this play just keeps getting worse. 3 people have already died for 1. Vikla is gonna go down here. There was about a 5k or so gold lead that would have been expanded if they had just, you know, taken it a little slower and gotten the bot tower. And now this is a 3k gold lead. Skewmon doesn't kill Raptor. Raptor does survive. This TP is kind of hilarious from Caps. But the game all of a sudden looks not like it's free anymore. A 2k gold lead at 25 minutes is very different from a 2k gold lead at 12 minutes. There's a huge difference in the impact of that. So this next dragon is really going to be make or break for the game, you have to think. There's going to be lots of posturing. I'm probably going to skip through it a little bit because I want to get through this so I can watch the next game as well. But the engage coming in from BFX, nice reflect onto the Nami ulti from Vikla. Labrov goes down, but the knockup from Ornn catches the Nocturne. Lots of trading, 1-for-1 so far. G2 has the advantage because BFX did lose their jungler, so the dragon being up to 15 has to favor G2. And Rumble is going to base and TP back. There's going to be... Oh, I shouldn't skip ahead. We'll just let this play out. Hans, nice W to get out, but nobody on G2 has seen this Rumble TP, and that's going to be the difference maker because he's going to show up. He's going to instantly kill Caps with the shield from the TP. Doesn't take that much damage. Hans does get a nice little bit of poke onto Diable. This Ornn is extremely tanky, but does still have to flash out. Has TP in base, but doesn't have time. Decides to stay. Skewmon goes down. Ulti onto the Rumble, kills the Rumble. And then Kellen kind of almost looked caught out. But then Diable goes in. But then Kellen goes back in because Diable goes in. Kellen goes down. And now Diable goes down. And it's suddenly a triple kill for Corki. G2 shrink the goalie down to 1k and have the numbers advantage. Raptor starts hitting this, but there is simply no way that he's going to be able to fully kill this objective. And G2 get the dragon. Oh, there's another fight. I forgot this happened. Raptor, of course, he's going to go and kill Labrov again. How can I be so silly to forget that he goes and kills Labrov? So, Hansama and BB are here. Now, G2 is going to back off and kill this dragon. BFX don't contest this. And dragon successfully taken by the G2 squad. Now, BFX are around Nash. Vikla W's the Ornn ulti, which is kind of funny. But Ornn has Protoplasm Harness, so he's basically invulnerable now. Kellen goes in, but a pretty slow follow-up on the Rumble ulti, and same with the Nocturne. If those were coordinated instantly, that engage might have been very good, but BFX kind of lose all of their engage tools. So, kind of feels like G2 can just walk over to the Nash and start it. The only ultis left are Vikla's and Diable's, but Diable's is hard to utilize without like other people setting it up for him. And here, G2 are starting this Baron. No Ocean Soul this time, so they are taking damage. This Ornn is getting a bit low. Vikla goes, but Caps finds the angle. Nice angle from Caps. Gets Diable. Clear gets very fortunate to get pushed back over the wall by the terrain, so he doesn't also go down. Skewmon dies, but in the end, G2 do win this fight, although the Hansama does go down, and the Nami W is what kills the Mel, but the Ornn stays alive. Nobody can kill this Ornn. He is invulnerable. He has so much extra stats from the passive, from giving items. Ornn gets bonus health, armor, and magic resist. And because they came from behind, you get a lot of like bonus XP when you're down in level. So he's level 18 and very, very strong. Additionally, BFX's comp doesn't have very good damage spread. They have Mel, Rumble, and Kaisa, who all do a lot of magic damage. And Nocturne does mostly physical damage, but doesn't do a lot of damage in a team fight. He's going to ult and maybe kill one person, max. But that's not everybody. Like, that's not an Ornn. It's never Ornn that he's killing. So this Ornn is a huge problem for BFX to deal with. They need to get a good engage and then kill the Ornn with everyone else alive. So it's another Drake posturing situation. And we're going to skip a little ahead to where the fight begins. Here, Clear starts off with the Rumble ulti. Then Kellen tries to go in onto Caps, but he presses W. A nice E from the Mel, but no follow-up from BFX. Raptor doesn't go in either. And Mel also wastes her ultimate. Again, same situation as before where G2 have, or excuse me, BFX simply have no ultimates. And that means G2 is thinking, okay, it's definitely time to fight right now. They walk and aggressively walk towards the BFX side. And Han Sama, huge chunk onto Dival, kills him with the Jarvan follow-up. Hans's build, he went Hex Optics third, which I think is the new build on Corki. I think it's bringing back crit Corki, because look at that auto attack did so much damage, and that is, I mean, he also has eye edge, but Hex Optics really does a lot of damage here. BFX starting the Dragon. G2 was doing the Nash after getting that pick onto Diable, but BFX say, hey, we're gonna go to the Dragon if you're gonna go to the Baron. And Hansama again flashing in, killing Vikla, does end up going down, but Caps is here to clean up, and BFX just cannot kill the Dragon in time. And this is a huge throw officially from BFX. They are now definitely behind in this game. Down 3k gold and down 2 Mountain Dragons. G2 has the Baron. They're in a fantastic position. They have a Zir Ornn scaling. Everyone's got their Ornn items. 4 cannons bot lane, but they do end up killing all these waves. Look in the minimap though. Rakan with a hero flank. Can he make this work? The Nocturne ulti comes out so no one can see the Rakan. The Rakan flashes onto the Corki. One shots the Corki. It could be so bad for G2, but the problem is that we kind of gotten outscaled. There isn't enough damage from BFX to kill the rest of the team. They 100-0 with the Corki before he did any damage in this fight, and it was a 5 for 1. So excuse me. Afterwards, and G2 end up taking this victory, coming back from a 5k deficit. One of the first throws that I can really think of in this entire tournament. I feel like no other game there has ever been a throw anywhere close to that big. G2 up 2-0. BFX almost out of the tournament. G2 with a huge upset potential. Can they close it out? Let's find out. Coming into game 3, I was really excited for what I was looking to see, but as soon as I looked at the draft from BFX, I knew this was going to be a very hard game. So BFX have a poke comp, and poke comps traditionally in pro play don't come out very frequently because not having a lot of engage is very hard. Although Maokai is like the champ that kind of does both. He facilitates poke comps and has quite strong engage. But the problem with this game, this poke comp, this game, is when you look at the enemy team and they just have the most engage you've ever seen. Sion, who is like the worst champ to play against as a poke comp because he literally doesn't take any damage. He shields all of your poke, and you know, he really burns you for not having consistent damage that can kill him. Alistar, another champ that can be really annoying for a poke comp because of how strong his engage is. And Pantheon, a champion that really punishes the, you know, Syndra and Jace for trying to split push if they ever want to do that. Also can dive into the backline extremely easily. Additionally, Zoe's also kind of annoying to play against because her bubble acts as a pseudo engage where, you know, you can imagine a situation where you land a bubble and then Sion ultis them and there's not much you can do other than block it for them, otherwise they're gonna die. So Sivir, Zoe is also really annoying, and then Sivir just speeds everyone up and makes everyone faster and is a hyper carry. So if you're not killing her instantly, it's super bad. I think this is complete, like, I think this is like virtually unplayable for BFX compositionally. So they're gonna have to really play well if they want to win this game, in my opinion. So going into the early game, Raptor starts Raptors, which is going to matter because Skewmond tries to invade. Early game, nothing really happens. It's mismatch clears this game. But Skewmond bases, doesn't go for his own crab, but instead wants to contest the enemy Raptors. So Raptor being kind of smart here and not walking all the way around, just waiting a bit. And Vikla, because he has TP, is here a lot faster than Caps. So Skewmon not getting the bot crab and instead like contesting the second Raptor spawn. You know, it has a lot of potential upside, but this game, it doesn't end up working. There's a lot of risk associated with starting Raptors, and this is kind of the reason. Makai is so good at killing Raptors, though. He does end up still getting the big one. Skewmon gets a couple of the small ones, but ultimately not... nothing crazy. Just talking about jungle. Why there's a small difference. Now, typically against poke comps, one of the win condition strategies is dragon stacking, because that's the only way you could force them to fight you. And here, Caps takes 2 tower shots while trying to poke Vikla under tower, which normally wouldn't matter because Caps is going to base, but G2 started the dragon right now. And I think the fact that Caps took these 2 tower shots incentivizes BFX to say, hey, this isn't actually a 4v3, it's basically just a 3v3 because Caps is so useless. If this was like a full HP Zoe, this would be kind of scary, but Zoe can't like full send it. If she was full HP, like she would for sure flash in and like use all the summoners if she wasn't so low. But now not only does BFX steal the dragon from G2, they get more kills. Zoe dies, they use summoners. It's a great start for BFX. This is the kind of start they need in order to win this game, in my opinion, because again, I feel like in the compositions, it's just G2 have such a better comp. So 1k gold lead from BFX. In terms of the actual lane matchups, because I didn't really talk about that, the bot lane matchup, I think, is not that... It's not that bad for BFX, but it's not that good because Poke Varus isn't that good against Sivir, I'm pretty sure. Here, Raptor is going to do grubs with the Jace into Sion. Jace obviously is going to have push into Sion early game. That's pretty obvious. But yeah, because you have to go Poke Varus, because you're playing a Poke comp, doesn't feel as good into Sivir. Poppy into Alistar is a good matchup, but they don't get that much of an advantage. The mid lane matchup, I think it's... I honestly feel like the fact that there is a Maokai on the Syndra makes me think that I would rather be the Zoe. Now, in trade for BFX doing the grubs, G2 go for this bot dive and end up making it work. Labrov barely living, so it ends up being 1 for 0. Maokai was not able to cross after the grubs quickly enough to defend his bot lane, but it was the support that died. It isn't really the end of the world. Now, what kind of is pretty bad, and I didn't actually write a note about this, but you're seeing that Sion is pressuring the Jace under tower, and that's not how this lane's supposed to go, as far as I know. So I don't know what Clear did wrong exactly, but he's not up a meaningful amount of gold, and he's not up. He's up a 1 plate, and he's playing Jace Sion. So I don't know if this lane just got changed or something, but that's pretty bad, and that kind of is going to continue. Like, Clear is not winning this lane 1v1. He doesn't win it for a while. But that is top lane, so who really cares about top lane? We care about the dragons here in this game. Again, G2 really want to stack dragons because dragons are the best way to force a poke comp to fight you. A bubble lands on to the Syndra, but G2 don't full commit. BB getting some trades onto Clear. Clear again very low. No TP from Jace, and Jace gets forced out early, and this is kind of bad. But Kellen is the one that gets engaged on and will end up going down here. LeBron with a really nice vision to see that Kellen was overextended here. Kellen lands the W, so doesn't instantly press it, but the bubble from the W into the bubble isn't just enough CC to get Schemon in range, and now Kellen's dead. And BFX, they're not going to try to contest this. It's 4v3, but it's actually 5v3 because there's TP advantage on the Scion. And Scion utilizes this TP advantage to TP in anyways. Here, Raptor gets TP'd on, goes down, and now G2 are going to dive this tower. Now, to be honest, G2 make this dive extremely scuffed because they don't let Scion tank, but it does end up being completely fine. It's not that bad. BB has to flash, but otherwise, very good so far. 1k gold lead from G2, complete turnaround. That was 3 kills unanswered, and they're going to get this dragon. And Clear was pushing top, but Caps kind of snuck through. The rest of BFX was fighting on the other side, and nobody saw Caps go top side, and Clear goes down to the bubble over the wall. Wait, was that blind? I just realized that might have been blind. There was no way that was blind, right? No, okay, that wasn't blind. He had vision from the cannon. So this is not good. I really think like BFX need an advantage to win this game. Like they cannot be equal gold at 25 minutes and expect to win, in my opinion. So BFX identified that Caps is the target they want to go for, and Pantheon has no ulti. They think that this is their moment, so they take the Mega Cone and they're looking for Caps. Caps nice flash timing on the Poppy stun. Vikla doesn't chain CC off of the Maokai ulti, and it's just a complete disaster for BFX. There's no wave. They're 3v3 getting destroyed. It's like it already feels basically over. Like I know it doesn't really look like the game is over, but if you're not ahead on this BFX comp, like you just can't play the game at all. You can almost think of it kind of like Pokemon, where like if you have a compositional advantage, when you get a gold lead, your gold lead just matters so much more. Think back to when, G2 used Pantheon ulti on mid lane to find Diable and Kellen. Nice there, but what I was talking about with Pokemon was if you have a compositional advantage, it almost feels like your gold leads grow quicker and matter more. When BFX got a lead, they got like 500 gold lead, and then when G2 get, a similar like winning fight, for them they like get a huge gold lead, and that's because BFX have to like put so much more effort into getting these leads. They can't like be as greedy. G2 get the Herald off of that kill in the mid lane, and here Caps kind of disrespecting. He goes for the tower, but ends up going down to Vikla here, which is pretty bad. Big shutdown over to Vikla, and Vikla's gonna get the top tower. So honestly, Caps this series has not been looking that great. This is the best game he's looked so far. But yeah, I think this series really has been decided by the fact that the number of times I've said Diable this series has really not been that many. And BFX live and die by Diable. And Hans Sama has just had such a great series so far. Like that first game, Diable was getting screwed. Now part of that wasn't really his fault, but it was really tough for him. Second game, he didn't really do anything crazy in that game either. And Hansama on the Corki was doing some pretty crazy things in that game to make that comeback. And here, Diable, he's on the Poke Varus. He hasn't really done anything. And Hansama is on the Sever. He's on almost 2 items. If he can continue this form, it could be just a 3-0. And it's certainly looking like that. Dragon is coming up here. There was some posturing for both squads. BFX needs to get some poke down. Actually, I need to point this out because this is like the sign that it's so bad. BFX started Dragon. They're on Dragon right now. Look, they're going to hit Dragon. Oh, my game exploded. They're on Dragon. Silent TP's in. BFX just run away. And this makes sense. It's not bad to run away because you're a poke comp. You want to poke them. But what's bad is when you just don't fight after. Like, you just showed up, let them take dragon, and just walked away. Like, they don't contest this at all. Now, that's bad, but Caps overpresses a bit. He's auto-attacking this Jace, and then Clear finds a really nice flash E over the wall so that Poppy's E will stun, and Caps goes down, and then a nice Poppy ulti to prevent the defense of Labrov, and Labrov ends up going down. So a nice counterplay there from Clear, making a big play on the Jace. Good work from him. The gold lead shrinks a bit, but I wouldn't be too worried as G2. I think their comp is still very good. Another disaster has to, like, I feel like you need at least 2 more disasters for this game to start actually feeling scary. BFX, they have a poke comp. They're going to try to siege, but another reason this comp is really annoying is that Sivir is one of the best wave clear champs in the entire game. So not only is she hard to poke, but she also just kills the entire wave. And you, if you're trying to hit the tower. BFX try to siege though, it just doesn't work very well. Eventually, BFX has just been AFK here for long enough, and G2 realizes, yeah, they're not doing anything. We're just gonna make our own play. Pantheon, like mentioned in the draft, Pantheon is gonna make it really hard for the Jace in the side lane. Here, Clear gets flashed on, Skewmon doesn't land the Q, but BB does full send to kill Clear there. I think they could have just auto-attacked the tower and killed it, and then it would have been really free, but instead they full dive. It ends up being a 1-for-1, but they also got the tower. They didn't lose mid tower. They got even mid tower because the Varus had to leave and go bot lane to kill the Scion with Poppy. And back to round about to 2.5k gold lead for G2. The next dragon spawning again. We really want to see long poke sequences from BFX before these dragons. So we'll just play this out and see like how much poke really gets landed, because right now everyone's full HP still, right? We got 30 seconds. We didn't land that one. We took a little damage off of the Scion. Scion presses W and is just tanking all this poke. And there's 20 seconds left, and we've only just started dealing damage to the enemy champions. All the carries are still full HP. Okay, Scion is taking some damage. But again, this is why Scion is so annoying for these comps. Skewmon lost the green smite shield. He just tanks so much punishment. He's tanked 2 entire HP total, or shield totals worth of damage. And that is, you know, like 1400 HP or something. Like, it's kind of a lot. And now the fight's starting. Not a ton of poke, but the bubble lands. And this is what I'm talking about with Zoe being annoying for poke comps. It's just a free go button. And now Vicla's instantly out of the fight. On the other side of the fight, BB is still taking up so much damage. They get him low, but they can't kill him. And he's still able to participate in this fight. And Diable dies to the combo. And this is how you know that BFX is not playing well. Diable, the guy with crazy mechanics, gets walked up and comboed and doesn't press flash. He has flash right now, and he didn't press it. It's just a bad showing from BFX today. They're tilted or whatever. They had bad sleep. Whatever excuse they want to make up, this is a really bad showing from them today, right? Like, well, maybe not everyone. Like, I feel like Diable has not been on his A game. All of the other series, and even in LCK, I feel like all the other series, even the ones that he was losing, they were looking good, except maybe the Gen one, but that one doesn't count. In this one, like, he just doesn't look, he doesn't have the same aura about him. It's like lowercase d Diable. It's not scary. So G2, because they delayed the Maokai kill for so long, they end up getting the Nash off of that and the dragon. And now it's their turn to siege. BFX have to be very careful of getting engaged on, but they're pushing top lane at the same time. Jace ends up backing off. Doesn't want to die to the Pantheon. Doesn't get the objective bounty. 7k gold lead for G2. Compositional advantage. You gotta think this is game over. There's just no way that BFX could come back from this. But G2 did have a game earlier, last game, where they came back from a pretty significant gold lead. here. They got top tier 2. And they siege for a bit with a Nash, but nothing ends up happening. And without Nash, you can't siege against this comp. There's too much wave clear. Even with the Scion being very tanky, the Varus Q and Cinder Stuns are just very scary. Sivir doesn't want to auto attack. Vikla tries to make a desperation play to catch Hansama recalling on a ward, but doesn't end up mattering. He's on range to press R. I assume that's why he pressed flash, but Hans just walks away. Doesn't even have to blow flash. Does have to ult, but it's going to come down to the Chemtech Soul fight in 40 seconds. Now, in this game, Chemtech Soul is definitely the worst one by a lot, but for G2 that is, but it's still a soul, and the heal and shield power is really nice for Scion. Look at that shield, doesn't take any damage, and Scion is TPing beside himself to get the big shield. The bubble lands onto the Maokai. And how is BFX supposed to walk in? Who is supposed to walk in through what G2 have? Again, there's a Zoe, so it's really scary to just walk up and try to contest. Kellen is the one that has to do it as a support. Raptor does get in. BB tanks one of the Maokai ults for Skimon. Kellen doesn't use his ult and goes for the E onto the Scion, and BB ults it, and that is immediately a bad fight engage. Labrov goes for the WQ flash onto Diable and Raptor, but only hits Raptor. Pantheon ults afterwards. Clear goes for Hansama, but it doesn't end up mattering. And it's just a complete winning fight. If the engage wasn't good, BFX was never winning that fight. And as soon as Poppy got R'd by Scion, it was just completely lost. Caps flashes it onto Vikla. And that's the end of the game and the end of the series. A 3-0 coming out of G2. Nobody expected this. BFX was looking very strong against everybody that isn't named Gen G. And G2 putting Europe back in on top. LCK Korea #2 is not better than G2. Congratulations to G2. I have to say, my player of the series has to be Hansama. I think he had a phenomenal series, and not only did he play individually very well, but his lane opponent Diable was, he felt so invisible. And maybe it's just because he feels so impactful most of the time that when he just has like a normal series, he doesn't feel it feels so much worse. But I think Hansama played amazingly. Congratulations to G2, well deserved, and excited to see how they perform in the next round. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all for the next video. Bye-bye.